Hello, I am an old fart, and I have a guilty pleasure. I like knives. I'm not an expert or an official representative of anything, or anyone in any way, blah blah blah. I just like knives. Today, as we continue the tour through my collection, I am going to talk a little bit about this tiny little guy. A very cool little knife. This is the Nerd from TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing. So, the TRM Nerd. TRM is a small manufacturer located in Three Rivers, Massachusetts. I think they originally started out as a titanium fabrication shop, and now they design and make knives, and they do everything on site. So it's a local design and local manufacturing. They have a family of knives of different sizes, and it's that family that kind of led me to this knife. The largest in the family, and the one I bought first, was the TRM Atom. And I really liked that knife enough that I realized I wanted to have some of the other knives in the family. The problem is their knives are not easy to get. They cannot make as many as the demand, and so they sell out very quickly. And it's a kind of a challenge to actually successfully purchase one. However, there's quite a healthy used market, and I was able to get the Nerd just by chatting with people in their user group, and there was a fellow there who was willing to sell this one, so I was able to pick it up used. So a quick tour. So this is a, I would say, thumb stud opening knife, except there's no thumb stud. You open it either pinching it open or by getting your thumbnail into the depression here, the milled logo. And it is a liner lock knife. Now with that milled depression, you can open it two hands. You can open it one-handed, again, by just getting the meat of your thumb, or I use my thumbnail, into that depressed logo and swing it open. It opens quite easily. Now, I can't flick it open, not without a stud. I just don't have enough grip or traction there to give it a good flick. I have seen people who can do it. Good for you. I can't. The main thing about this knife to discuss is its size. This is small, very small, like miniature. But it's not miniaturized in the sense that it's sacrificed anything about quality. It's not flimsy. It's good quality, solid, sturdy, just small. So obviously the thing to do is to do some size comparisons. Give you an idea of how small it is. It really is a compact knife. I'm just going to put it next to a business card here. So you can see that it is closed. It's slightly smaller than a business card, which is kind of cool. It fits into your pocket that easily. Open, most important measure, becoming my standard. It's about 0.76 pocket calculators. And if we compare it to some other knives, I'll start with the Mini Griptilian. That seems to be the knife I'm using as my comparison for most other things, because it is really my first serious knife. So as you can see, it's much smaller than a Mini Griptilian. Let's compare it to some small knives. It's slightly smaller than the Benchmade Megumi, and it is slightly smaller than the Almar Ultralight. So it is a tiny knife. However, both of these knives, as you saw when I reviewed them, particularly the Megumi, sacrifices something to be that small. It isn't a solid lock. There's some side-to-side blade play. And on the Almar Ultralight, there's no noticeable blade play, but what I said when I reviewed this knife is it feels a little bit flimsy. It's so small that I'm just a little bit nervous of putting it to hard use. Not so the Nerd. It's solid lockup, no blade play, a really good, firm, secure feeling, just small. And it hasn't sacrificed anything to achieve that size. That's kind of cool. Being so small, it is very light. Lightweight knife, weighs about 50 grams, which is about 50% less than the mini Griptilian. So for the rest of the construction, the blade is 20 CV steel, which is a great steel I like very much. Short blade, that's 2.2 inches, 2.25 inches, which is well under the 3-inch limit that matters in some places. It came sharp. TRM does a really good job of delivering their knives sharp. But I have added to this one, I've sharpened it on a KME system to get it to mirror sharp. I think you can see the mirror reflection coming there, and I enjoy doing that. And again, as I've said before, there's no reason a knife needs to be that sharp. In fact, honestly, to be practical, it shouldn't be that sharp, but it's a lot of fun to be able to see yourself in the mirrored edge. Really nice blade. Interesting shape too, I guess. Technically, is that called a drop point when it's an angle? I don't know what to call that shape, but anyway, it's an interesting shape. The body is, well, it's full liners. You can see inside there, so full metal liners inside the body. And it has what is one of TRM's kind of trademark features, which is that the scales are easily swappable. You just undo, you need a stylus, here we are. You undo these 2 screws, and this scale just lifts off. It's bored wide enough for the pivot screw to remain in. So you undo those, this scale lifts off. Undo these 3, this scale lifts off, and you can buy additional scales for the knife from all kinds of materials and designs. TRM sells a bunch themselves, and other people make aftermarket scales. So this set of scales is called Tech Wood, which is sort of plastic nylon of some kind that's designed to look like wood. I actually think it's quite pretty. And collecting scales to change the appearance of your knife is a thing that people do. It has a nice clip. The clip is bent titanium, and it is a deep carry clip. I'm glad that it comes from the factory as deep carry, because I really like deep carry clips. The clip is one-sided. You can see it's mounted here, so for right-hand carry, right-hand tip-up carry, there aren't any options. You could get the ability to mount it for left-hand carry. If you look in there at the liner, you can see there are mounting holes in the liner. There we are. There are mounting holes in the liner for the clip on the other side. It's just that the scales are not pierced for that. But I'm sure somebody could make scales that would allow access to those holes, and then you could do left-hand carry. Anyway, as it is, just this option. Right-hand tip-up carry. Now, talking about that, the thing is sort of ambidextrous. Ambidextrous opening. It's this milled recess exists on both sides. So I'm not going to try to do it. I'll probably cut myself, but a left-handed person could, there we are, can open that one hand quite comfortably. But of course, being a liner lock, it's not left-handed close. The locking mechanism on that side. So a lefty has to pull the locking mechanism and close the blade, and I'm not going to try that. I will definitely slice my thumb. So I'll call it partially ambidextrous. No lanyard hole in this knife. It would probably look a little bit ugly and weird. So there's your physical tour. Let me talk a bit about the knife. I like it. I like it quite a lot. One of the things I like is it's hard to get. The fact that you have to work a little bit to get one means, this is something that not everybody has. You didn't get it in a lineup at Walmart. You had to do a little bit of work and be a little bit lucky, and I think that's kind of cool. I do like that it is tiny. There are times when I really want a small knife because I'm going somewhere where there's nervous people or wearing a suit. It fits the 5th pocket in my jeans really nicely. It's cute. It's kind of disarming. It's not a macho knife, but it is sturdy and secure enough that its small size doesn't bother me. I mentioned I like the steel quite a lot. 20 CV sharpens well, nice mirror edge. And I've pointed out these recessed, what do you call those anyway? Pockets, I guess, were milled out. I think that looks really cool. This one has the TRM logo etched inside it. And this one just has a very fine knurling pattern. And I think that looks quite nice, classy. TRM blades are very thin and slicey, so it's a good knife for cutting with. It's not a crowbar blade. I wouldn't try to pry something open with it, but it's a very easy blade to cut with. A few minor things I don't like. I said one of the things I like is that it's hard to get. Well, it's also something I don't like. I mean, I know that annoys people, and it was a bit of work to get one. I had to buy this one used. I have not yet managed to see an opportunity to buy one new. So that's both a plus and a minus. A little more important as a dislike is, it is really small. That's its thing. But honestly, for me, my fairly long fingers, I find it's actually a little bit too small. It's hard to open one-handed because I really only can get 2 fingers on the knife to operate it. And it wasn't that hard. But every now and then I just feel like I'm not really in full control. Like the grip isn't as firm as I would like. And that's really why I can't flick it too. I start the flick. Now I'm worried about my fingers being in peril from that blade. So I find it's just a little bit too small for me for a secure, comfortable grip. But honestly, it's not a knife for everyday use. It's a knife to carry with you when you can just barely carry a knife. The other problem that a lot of liner locks have, and this one because it's so small, is that to close it one-handed, you are very much in harm's way as the blade is closing. And I have successfully cut myself on the heel of the blade while closing it. Not just while closing it, but while moving out of the way. As I swivel the knife around in my hand to get out of the way, I have nicked the side of my finger there as it moves like that. So it's just a little bit cramped for safe handling. Anyway, those are minor complaints. Let's run through my internationally unknown knife rating systems. We'll start off with the NTGK rating, non-threatening gentleman's knife. I'm going to give it an A+ for that. For NT, non-threatening, it's really good. It's small. Nobody was scared by this little thing. It opens slowly. I think that's important for a knife to be non-threatening, is that it doesn't fly open and look like a switchblade. And you can open it two-handed, which reduces the threat even more. And it looks cute, not threatening. So I'd give it an A+ under non-threatening. As a gentleman's knife, pretty good. You can get classy scales for it. It's tiny and pockets really well with the deep carry clip. And the fact that it's not easy to get adds a little sort of a cachet of boutique manufacturer and makes it a little classier still. So between those two things, I'll score it an A+ as an NTGK. As a knife nerd rating, I'm going to give it only a B+. Great steel, US made, hard to get. Those are all good things. But it's very small. And the knife nerds I know seem to prefer a slightly larger knife. And it's not flickable, at least not by me. So I'll pull it down to a B+ as a KM rating. Final rating would be the CMR, the cut myself rating. Well, as I said, I have successfully cut myself on it a couple of times, just from handling it in the small, cramped space. That in particular is the most common move that I've cut myself. So I'm going to give it a B as a cut myself rating. Lovely little knife, especially for times when you can almost not carry a knife. Wearing a suit, wearing a tuxedo, going to work, going to a meeting with people I don't know, but feel I need to have a cutting tool with me, this is the one that comes along. Hope you found that useful, and I hope to see you again. Thanks. Bye-bye.